Hey everybody, welcome back to episode 9 of This Sucks. Hey everybody, on today's vlog, I am going to talk a little bit about stress and how we deal with stress in healthy ways and not so healthy ways, and different ideas that you might be able to use on a daily basis to help alleviate some of the things that are going on in your mind and just help feel a little bit better about what's going on in your life, or at least be able to handle it a little bit more. Stress is a really hard thing, and it doesn't matter how old you are or what you've been going through. Everyone deals with stress in different ways, and it's a very normal part of life. And some people they seem to handle it with no problem at all. They're skating by, and they seem to be on top of everything, and nothing seems to bother them. Now, in all honesty, it's very possible that they're just putting on a brave face, and when they get home, they're also dealing with the same things that you and I are dealing with as well. So, sometimes we deal with stress in really healthy ways. We exercise. We go for a walk. But sometimes we handle stress in not so healthy ways. Now, it's important to remember that stress in general is normal. It's a normal part of our lives. But if we stay in an elevated level of stress, it actually does have a physical impact on our bodies as well. So I know we've talked with some of you guys, and we've had comments about people being like, I don't feel good physically. And that can actually happen. When you are under a lot of stress, not only will you worry more and you might feel anxious and feel like you're almost having a panic attack, but you might also feel that your stomach is upset. You might not have as big of an appetite. You might have diarrhea. That's a pretty normal part too. Headaches, muscle aches. You might feel that your muscles are all tight because you're kind of just holding everything in. These are all things that can happen when we're stressed. And if we don't find a way to help bring down those levels to a more manageable spot, it can cause long-lasting impacts just on our body in general. So really important to come up with tools that will help you handle the stress in your life, whether they're big things or little things. It doesn't matter. It's still an impact on ourselves, and we still need tools in order to help deal with those. So some of those tools can be really simple. Sometimes we just need to let out our frustration or our grief or whatever that is, and that might look like eating. Some of us eat when we're stressed. Now, that's not the healthiest thing to do, especially if you're stressed all the time. But some people do use that and they find it comforting. You just gotta be really careful, and I highly recommend, if you are a stress eater, find things that are a bit healthier to eat, if that's going to be your go-to. So fruits, veggies, smoothies are great. And depending on how you're feeling, some of those things may not work. But definitely also look for other ways to help alleviate that stress as well. Exercise. Exercise is a great way to help alleviate stress, and it can get your brain off of thinking of all of those things that are going through and just cycling through, because you're making your body work and you're focusing on something else. Now, that doesn't have to be a really strenuous workout. It could just be going for a walk, going for a run, might be jogging, walking up and down the stairs a couple of times. Just get your blood flowing and get yourself moving. And that in itself can actually just help raise some of those good hormone levels in your body, like serotonin and cortisol, to help you feel just a little bit better. Sometimes, and they seem silly, but sometimes we really do just need to scream. So scream into a pillow. Go outside and scream to the sky. Sometimes if you can just release some of those pent-up emotions, that in itself will help you feel better as well. Sometimes some people feel better if they're able to talk to someone. So if you can find even just one person, whether it's in person, over the phone, online, where you know that they are a safe person that you can talk to about how you're feeling and what's going on in your life, that's always a great way. Sometimes that might be professional help. There is absolutely nothing wrong and nothing shameful about seeking out a doctor or a therapist, a psychiatrist, to get someone who's gone to school for years and years and years to understand how the brain works, how stress works, depression, anxiety, and all of those things, and help you work through whatever is going on in your life. That's an okay thing to do, and there's no shame in asking for help. Sometimes you might just need to find something that gets your mind off of what is stressing you out. Maybe that's sitting down and binging Netflix for a little while, or playing a video game. I know a lot of you who watch our channel like to play video games, and sometimes that's a great way too. It's just getting your mind to stop cycling through whatever it is that has you worried or stressed, and if you just can just take a little bit of a break, sometimes that's enough to kind of reset things so you feel a little bit more prepared to handle everything that's going on in your life. Now, one of my biggest challenges that I've always had is I overthink things. So if I have something that I am worried about, it will constantly just cycle in my mind over and over and over and over, to the point that I get distracted. I won't sleep because as I'm trying to fall asleep, or if I wake up in the middle of the night, I'll start thinking about it again. And that's not good either. Your body needs rest. And if you're not resting, that also impacts how well you think, what you feel. So there are some tools that I've spoken to a counselor about as well that I've tried, and it really does help, especially in the issue where my brain won't stop working and won't stop going over everything when I'm trying to go to sleep at night. So one of those is if there's just a topic or two topics that won't stop, make sure you have a piece of paper or something next to your bed and write them down. Because some of that worry sometimes is that you're afraid you're gonna forget about it tomorrow. So if you write it down, you're not going to forget about it, and give yourself permission to just put it aside for the night and come back to it tomorrow. That's okay. Then the next step is forcing yourself to not think. This is tricky and this takes work. Really, the easiest one that I have found is I will just pick a number, usually like 100, something easy, and I start counting down in my head while I'm laying in bed. And your mind's gonna start to wander. And as soon as you realize your mind is wandering to something else, some other topic, go right back to counting and keep going. And eventually, you'll stop thinking about those other things and you're gonna fall asleep, okay? Doesn't work for everybody, and there's other options out there too, other visualizations and things that you can use and try out, and it's not going to be perfect right away. It does take some work and some practice, but it's something that has worked for me just to help slow my mind down so that I can finally fall asleep and get the rest that my body needs. Now, one of the other things too, especially if you have just a lot going on in your life and you feel like these things that you're thinking about that are stressing you out is impacting how you're interacting with other people, how you're able to get through your day, that like it's just with you all the time. That happens too. So set a schedule. And it seems silly, but if you say, okay, well, I know I'm gonna have a break at 2 p.m. today. So for 15 minutes, I am going to think about this thing, whatever that thing is. And I'm gonna let myself have all the feels. I'm gonna be mad, I'm gonna be sad, all of it. Maybe you'll cry, that's okay. But set a timer. Give yourself 15 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever, maybe it's 5 minutes. Enough time where you can let your mind and your body go through the emotions that you need to go through. Timer goes off, you take a deep breath, and you move on to the next thing. Now, that doesn't mean that it's gone. Obviously, it's not. But sometimes we have to go through those emotions, and we have to give ourselves a chance to feel before we can really start working through what's going on and how to maybe make things better. So again, seems a little silly, but set an alarm. See how it works. A couple other really, really simple things that can help lower your own stress level. Ask for a hug. If you have someone who can give you a hug, sometimes just that physical contact with someone else can really help. Stress can turn into depression, anxiety, and some other very, very serious things that impact a lot more people than you know, and probably a lot of people that you do know who are suffering in silence. That might be you. And again, like I said before, there is absolutely nothing wrong, and there is no shame at all in asking for help. So if you or somebody you know or love are having some very dark thoughts, if you're thinking about harming yourself or killing yourself, suicide is a real thing at all ages. Ask for help. Reach out. There are always people who are able to help you. In the description below, I have put a number of links to different websites, phone numbers that I'm able to find specifically. We live in the United States, so I found some for the United States. There's some for Canada. If I can find some others as well, I will put those in as well. All of these services are usually completely free, often anonymous as well, and they often have ways to either chat online, chat over the phone, and you can really make it as detailed as you want it. Or if you or someone you love are very seriously thinking of harming yourself or others, call 911 if you live in the United States. And if you live in another country, please make sure you know your emergency number as well and call for help. Someone will come and someone will be there to help you and get you the help that you might need, okay? So please take care of yourself, take care of the people that you love, and work on creating that arsenal of tools so that you never get to that point. And if you do get to that point, ask for help. Thank you guys so much. Appreciate you very, very much. And we will see you next time. Bye.
Come on.
Well.